Hi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Renee Blodgett. I'm the CEO of Magic Sauce Media. It's a consultancy dedicated to social media strategies, viral marketing, PR, communications, and branding. I'm also the co-founder of Traveling Geeks, which is one of the reasons why we are over here in the UK, and the founder of We Blog the World, which is a global blog network.
Okay, so Renee, you're here in Cambridge at the Darwin Festival on the last day of an extremely grueling UK trip. What were your initial impressions on the UK trip generally?
Well, first of all, it wasn't a long, boring UK trip. It was a fabulous trip. It was pretty packed full, so we had lots of things in our agenda that ranged from meeting with agency people. We met with the cell partners and their portfolio companies. So, from very, very early stage startups through to obviously coming here to Cambridge and meeting with the Microsoft labs and Nokia labs and the research department and learning a little bit about what they're working on in innovation across the board in technology, whether that's down to chips or green tech and sustainability. So it was pretty broad.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was terrific.
Great. And you've just had 2 days in Cambridge at the last part of the tour. What's your initial impressions on Cambridge?
Well, it's interesting because it's on some levels the equivalent of our MIT. On some levels, hopefully the Cambridge folks won't be put off by that. But just in terms of the innovation, the history, and the kind of things that they're working on under the hood that obviously not necessarily ready for prime time or even productized yet. I mean, one of the things that was interesting to me is that I saw they had this device that you could set up so that you knew in your kitchen or other appliances in your house, you could actually tune things in and say, okay, this appliance actually runs too much energy this time of day, and so it actually programs and says, no, we're going to actually automatically shut that off and turn it on and run when it's the most efficient time of the day, saving the consumer money, and obviously it's great for the environment. So that was one of my favorites. And then, of course, the innovation that's happening in the Microsoft and Nokia labs too. That was a really great highlight of the trip. And last night we had dinner at the Peter House, which the building was 1284, which is remarkable for us. It makes Boston look like Disneyland in the works. But fabulous, amazing people that ranged from, I think there were a couple of lords where they're not sitting around the table, venture capitalists, serial entrepreneurs, startups, as well as folks in Fortune 5, we call equivalent of our Fortune 500, large enterprise companies. And I talked to people who were working on enterprise software, Web 2.0, another company that's actually regulating the temperature of women to increase the likelihood of them getting pregnant and actually automates the process for a very, very cost-effective price. It's actually available in the UK now, and they're wanting to go worldwide with it. So lots and lots of exciting technologies, amazing people who were really not just here to tell us their story, but looking for how we could cross-pollinate ideas and keep that exchange going after we leave the UK.
That's great, thank you. And I think that's a very important point. And for many of the companies that were attending yesterday, is sort of drawing on your skill sets and your experience in social media, which is a relatively new concept in terms of business in the UK, and how they can begin to utilise that to increase leverage, coverage, etc. in international markets. Sort of given your skill sets and experience, what would be your key suggestions for companies looking to utilise social media for business?
Sure. I think it depends on the size of the company. I mean, obviously, a company of any size can implement social media and make it beneficial for them in terms of branding, in terms of obviously market positioning, and in terms of improving relationships with their customers. I work with a lot of emerging technology companies in the U.S. and abroad. I've actually had clients as far away as Israel and Australia, and yes, even the UK. For a small company that doesn't even have their brand recognition yet, or, for example, some of the things that are actually coming out of the labs or some of the startups, where they're still building that customer base, that's a perfect example to use social media tools like Twitter, like Facebook, like, some of these other micro blogging platforms and blogging itself to actually engage with customers. So that's something that you can do directly, and you can also reach out onto other forums and other blogs and comment on industry trends that doesn't necessarily self-promote your own product, but actually offers thought leadership through tons and tons of forums that we didn't have, even 5 years ago. So that's, a couple of the ways that sort of small startups can really kind of get out there and start engaging with customers. For larger companies that aren't yet doing that, you've got, you may have a large product line, of which maybe 2 products are doing, extremely well, and 2 products are not doing well. And so you can actually use social media to engage with customers and figure out what features aren't working for you. Let's pull it back into the pipeline. I mean, companies like Dell are doing that. What do you want from your next version? What's beneficial? What is actually solving a problem, and what is there that's actually too complex? A lot of products are actually, frankly, too complex and need to be simplified. And I think social media is a really great medium to get out there and find out what's essential, right, and what's really going to sell, and keep that dialogue going and keep it engaging.
Fantastic, thank you. So again, on behalf of everybody who's attended the last couple of days, I want to say thank you for choosing to come to Cambridge. And hopefully this is the first step in our company's base here utilising yourself and the rest of the geeks, sort of trying to break the US.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. We've had a fabulous time. We've learned a lot, and we're going to take what we learned and bring it back into the US market.
Okay, thank you, Renee.
Thanks.